What's up, buddy?
Oh, nothing.
I mean, we sat here and talked for like the last 45 minutes. We should have just been recording it. All that salmon talk.
Yeah, that would have been probably not a bad idea.
Yeah. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. Went down to the in-laws down in Savannah, Georgia, and made a couple turkeys. One smoked, one traditional roasted. Tuesday? Yeah, I think Tuesday went down there. Came back Friday.
Nice. Big family gathering?
No, it was in-laws and then sister-in-law, her husband and their two kids, my wife and I, and two of our kids, and then me and one of my daughters came back Friday.
Nice. What did you I assume you're the one that smoked the turkey, right? You smoked?
Yeah, we on the Big Green Egg. My father-in-law, he brined it, for a couple days prior to me getting there, and then then we thought we had everything we needed, like the day of, even I think the day before for like Thanksgiving meal, but apparently we didn't, and so my father-in-law was like finding every place to buy odd and end food to cook, like the day of, and so so he was gone pretty much the whole cooking time, just finding stuff, and so I had to smoke the turkey.
Nice. Yeah, I smoked my turkey on my. I don't have a Big Green Egg. I've got one of these. I did it in the 55-gallon barrel.
Yeah,
I love that thing so much.
Yeah, that's the barrel style is what I had a few years ago, and that was kind of what got me kind of hooked into the smoking process. But mine was just like this, very entry level kind of one that you get at Home Depot. It was probably like $20, so it probably didn't perform as well as many others, but it got me hooked.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I feel like I spent 3 days in the kitchen counting the cleanup. I was so done come Saturday, and then I had to deal with all the broth that I had made from my smoked turkey.
Well, and then I got back Friday morning at like 11:30, and then I made another turkey when I got home.
Really?
Yeah,
dude, I'm gonna keep doing turkeys like once a month or something. They taste so good smoked. I've never liked turkey until I started smoking them.
well, I mainly in addition to just wanting some kind of leftovers to eat, our neighbors, they're an elderly couple and like don't have people there to kind of help them out and take care of them. So my wife and I help out quite a bit, and I told them that I would make them a Thanksgiving meal. So
That's nice.
so that I did the turkey when I got home, candied yams, whipped potatoes, stuffing. It was good.
Our spread, just a huge spread of food. First of all, there's that dessert stuff. It's like Jell-O. Have you seen that? It happens in the Midwest. I never grew up with it. It's like a Jell-O dish. It's like a fruit dish. I don't know. It's weird. That's probably my least favorite.
Like Jell-O with fruit in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I just can't get into it. Like there's potatoes, you have green bean casserole, there's all this other great food.
Yep, stuffing or dressing, whatever you call it.
And then there's like 10 pounds of this Jell-O dish. And I'm just like, what's going on here? I'm not complaining. I just don't, I'm just, mysterious. Like, how did that get in the mix of Thanksgiving? It's just kind of a weird dish.
So the weird dish for me and like everyone at our family gatherings for Thanksgiving is candied yams. It was a few years ago. I made it, or quite a few years ago, I made it and brought it to my parents' house as my contribution to Thanksgiving meal. And my mom, she had probably one or two extra glasses of wine prior to eating, and I whipped out my candied yams, and she was like fucking hysterically laughing. She was like, "What is this?" I'm like,
Are they good? I don't know if I've ever had them.
"Oh, it's so good."
Is it like a mashed potato consistency, or?
So it's I think it's called the red russet yams. So it's the yellow one, or the red ones, and you dice them up, and then you put in butter, brown sugar, cinnamon, and a little bit of nutmeg, and you roast them till they're tender, and then so that's about a half hour, and then 5 minutes. With 5 minutes remaining, then you take miniature marshmallows, and put it and put it on top and brown them, and then it's candied yams, and they're so good. But my mom was like,
"What is this?
Like, is this dessert? Is it part of the meal? Is it like it's part of the meal?" And so I stopped making them for the family.
Nobody appreciated it.
Nobody appreciated it, and I got harassed. But my the wife, our neighbor, she loves them, and nobody else makes them. So I made some last year for them, and so when I got home, I made some.
So the other weird dish that I encountered this year, and this was a new one, it's called fruit soup. Have you heard of fruit soup?
Never heard of fruit soup.
I know, it's like just another one of these things, and I tried it, and I mean it's like there was cherries and some other. It's the color of calamati olives. So I talked.
I don't like olives.
I talked one of the kids to drop a couple olives in the fruit soup, just as a surprise for somebody. I thought that'd be appropriate.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I think my favorite dish was the smoked turkey, and then these potatoes. Eric made these potatoes that were like mashed and crispy on the outside, and oh my God, I ate so many potatoes. I love potatoes. But yeah, I don't know. I know Thanksgiving is over, but I feel like I'm still stuffed from Thanksgiving, and I'm still going to go home tonight and smoke some more poultry. I've got issues. Yeah, I want to try that pork belly. I want to try making my own bacon.
I know, like why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't you? It's like you just got to figure out where to get it from.
Yeah, and then how to cut it, right? I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be perfect like when you buy sliced bacon in the store.
No, I suppose just let it rest and cool, and
then cut it cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds delicious.
So do you still have to cook it after it's smoked? Or do you cook it through to where it's ready to eat?
Yeah, then do you fry it?
I don't know. That's a I don't want to ruin a whole pork belly experimenting, but I kind of want to try one. I think I'd do it on my sideways, like my Oklahoma Joe style, versus the one that, my barrel.
So you would cook it on its side, not like either belly down or belly up?
I think I'd cook it. I think I'd smoke it on a grate raised above a tin to catch drippings, if there are any drippings. And then the grate, I think I don't think you'd have to flip it if you did it that way.
How would you catch the drippings?
I don't know. Bacon drippings? Pork? I don't know.
Jar it?
Yeah. Jar it. I mean, so I've heard of people making bear grease. Have you heard of bear grease? It's a thing. Like
bear grease?
Bear grease. So it's like bear drippings.
Not droppings.
No. Yeah.
Slow.
Bear scat, smoked bear scat, blueberries.
Get the drippings.
Yeah, you'd get drippings. But no, so bear grease, I guess, is similar to honey in that it doesn't spoil if it's done right. And so a lot of back in the day, like the pioneer days, and then up in Alaska, out in the bush, where it's all subsistence living, bear grease is your butter. That's basically butter, and it can store at room temperature for years and years and years. Yeah, it's pretty intriguing, and I hear it's really good. If it's, I don't know the process. I've just been listening to some that Meat Eater podcast talk about it.
I've never had bear. I'd try it though.
It's good. It's actually really good. You gotta get the bear. You gotta get the right bear, the right diet. Because if you're eating bear that is eating a lot of fish, it's gonna not be as good as a bear that pretty much eats blueberries.
Right.
Yeah. So that has a lot to do with it. It's actually in the same family as pigs. It's or kingdom, phylum, class, order, family. It's the same species, maybe, or family. Anyway, they're very related. Like a bear is a boar, and then pigs are boars also. So it's real. There's a lot of fat. It's really good. Bear's good. It's just my dad got a big one. He shot. It was a blueberry bear. It was up in the tundra, munching on blueberry bushes, and it was. If he would have, I think, done it like given up the skull, and maybe I don't know about the hide, it would have gone into the Boone and Crockett for a record.
The hell is the Boone and Crockett?
Boone and Crockett is one of the, I guess, awards that are given for trophy animals. The Boone and Crockett.
Got it.
There's another one. I don't know enough about it to really talk about it, but I do remember that it was like a very large black bear that he came home with, and he still has the skull, still has the hide. Takes up a whole wall. I mean, it's a big black bear, but he always felt guilty for killing that bear
because it was such a beast.
Such a beast, and he never got a bear again. He did that one, and he always kind of felt bad for doing that. I don't even remember eating that bear. I'm sure we did. We had a couple different freezers going on. We had a freezer that was stacked full of salmon, like cordwood. I mean, I hated salmon growing up. I was so sick of salmon. And then another freezer was moose or caribou or both, depending on what we were able to get. I kind of miss that lifestyle of really not buying meat from the store unless it's bacon or bologna with pimentos, or
I know you get a moose and you got your meat for what, probably 6 to 8 months for a family.
Yeah, and moose is kind of like bear, and you can get a bad moose, like if it's in the rut.
You don't harvest them during like rut?
No, I don't think so. I remember harvesting them. I don't remember if it was before or after. Like, you don't want to get a bull that's all rutted out. They're just real pissed off and tense, and the meat's not as good.
Really? I thought like people here in Minnesota, like they hunt deer during the rut.
Yeah, buck doe.
Sure.
They're all hanging out. I don't know why. But I know
you'd think there'd be some similarities in not wanting to harvest a deer after it's rutted, but people hunt deer until I think the new year.
Yeah, well, no, it's the hunting season is in the fall up there for moose.
Do you do Do you do a moose call by hand, or do you have a
I
call?
I think I went moose hunting one time when I was a kid with my dad. They call them. They call them in. I remember my dad, he got a bow permit to go pull a moose, and he shot it, and it was, the light was falling. So he shot it, and he thinks it was, he went through the lung because it was a frothy blood. So he tried following that trail and lost it in the night. So he came home and then got me and my brother up and mom, and then we got the neighbors. They had like 4 or 5 kids, and we all went back there to where he shot it, and we spent all day long looking for that moose. And the we picked up the blood trail where my dad lost sight of it because it got too dark, but it finally just petered out. And I mean, it was such a bummer because it was a big bull, and in the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, I'm just going to walk 100 yards more in this direction because I'm going to find it. And it was like that all day long, and we never found that moose.
That's wild.
Yeah. So maybe it lived. I don't know. There's a program up in Alaska that you can sign up on for roadkill moose. So when a moose is killed by a vehicle, you are called if you're next on that list, and you have so many hours to get out to it and get it off the road. Basically, butcher it right there and quarter it and throw it in your truck.
Yeah, I always heard of like church groups that do the same thing. You know, they'll make, because then they'll go to like a lot of homeless shelters and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Yeah, there's an astronomical amount of moose that are killed up in Alaska, just between Anchorage and Wasilla. I mean, it's crazy. They have a sign up. I think the most I've seen is 260 moose killed during a winter.
Just driving between those two, that's crazy.
Yeah, and you don't want to hit a moose.
No, definitely not.
They cave in, like they fall right through the windshield. It's pretty messy.
Yeah, when I was there, the guy who invited me up there, he said, pretty much, you got to drive with your lights on 24/7. Just because there's just so much wildlife that could just jump out in front of you. He's like, I don't know why people don't do that everywhere, but it made sense.
Yeah, no, I think you have to keep your lights on up there. There's the stretch between Anchorage and Eagle River. Both sides of the highway have this really tall fence that runs like 12 miles, and there's breaks in the fence because moose can still find their way out onto the highway, but then they're trapped there.
Yeah, stuck.
So they have these like entry points that you can leave that highway zone. The moose can leave it, but they can't come back through it. But you'll see, it's a mess. It's a mess when you get a mama moose and a couple calves out on that icy highway, and everybody's hauling ass to work or home, and yeah. And then just south of Anchorage, on the Turnagain Arm that we talked about that last time, did you ever see the Dall sheep?
The white ones? Yeah, I saw those.
Like right on the road?
No, I had to, because on one of the pullovers, I stopped at a couple different times just to, look at everything, all the surroundings. And one of them I pulled off and was looking up in the mountains and was able to see a couple of them. So that's pretty cool. Yeah,
they come right down to that highway. Like they right down, there'll be 10 of them. There was actually a few years ago, there was this big ram over a full curl. He was a badass. And I used to drive that road every day, and anybody that commuted to Anchorage from Girdwood, you'd see that Dall sheep there. And
same dude.
And one day, some asshole stopped in one of those pull-offs that you probably stopped at and shot him.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, isn't that fucked up? I mean, that's just so fucked up. Yeah, he definitely got in trouble. But, we were talking about Copper River salmon.
So good.
Yeah, what do you like about it?
It tastes nothing like salmon that everybody kind of associates salmon with. It's the 180 degrees different. It's buttery. It's delicate. It's.
You keep talking. I'm just gonna fix that. It seems like it's about to. There we go.
Yeah, it's. You don't get that traditional salmon taste that everyone knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was hoping to get some this year, but there wasn't at the local store that I go to. They didn't have it this year.
Have you ever smoked salmon?
No.
That's good. It's really, really good. I think it's my favorite way to eat salmon.
What flavor wood do you use?
Alder. That's how we did it up there. I'm sure you can use different woods, but that's a real common tree up there.
Right. Yep. I wonder if, obviously here, probably don't have alder trees around, or you can't probably go buy alder.
I haven't even looked for it. You must be able to. I mean, I would guess there's alders here, right? I mean, up north in the Northwoods, or
who knows?
we should try to find some. So you brine it. Well, first I do it with skin on. I don't take the skin off the salmon. And you cut it in your strips, like, I don't know, 1.5 inches thick or whatnot. And you might do it with 10 fish, and you throw it in a bucket, food grade bucket, with salt, pineapple juice, and you let that soak.
You said salt and what?
Pineapple juice.
And do you, like, where do you get you said a food grade bucket? Is that like from Home Depot?
Well, no. What's that chemical that's in a lot of plastic? That's is it BPA?
Sure.
So food grade doesn't leak because you're brining, so you don't want plastic to.
Right.
I don't know if that's a gimmick or not, but they make food grade buckets, plastic buckets.
Got it.
And so it's a good plastic for food grade material, and so you soak it in that. For I think 24 hours, and you pull that out, and I think we rinsed it. It's been a long time since I've done this process, but this recipe is to die for. Then you put it out on your racks, and the type of smoker we'd use, they made Little Chiefs and Big Chiefs, and it's like an aluminum square, rectangular box, and down on the very bottom, there's a little door that opens, and it's like a little cast iron pan that you keep the alder chips in.
Yep.
And it's an electric heating element, and the only thing you're doing is the only heat that's generated is from the smoked alder. Like, there's no other heat source really.
So you're using a Traeger?
No, it's different than a Traeger. Definitely different than a Traeger, because we're not using pellets, and all we're using is alder wood. We're not using any other form of fuel.
Yep.
Asshole. But so you take your strips and you lay them on these grates, and you let that sit until they get tacky, right? They start getting tacky, almost like they're curing, like you're drying meat.
Yep.
And then you hit it with honey. You just drizzle that top with honey, and then you just smoke it all day long. It is amazing. It's because it's salty and it's sweet, and it gets to this point to where it's almost like jerky. It's softer than jerky, but it's got that like a smoke ring around the outside. I think they call it squaw candy. I don't know if that's politically correct to say, but that's what they call it, squaw candy. It's like candy. You can eat so much of it. And then the skin's good.
Squaw.
Squaw. I think like Native American candy. I don't think there were squaw in Alaska. So maybe Athabascan candy. would be more
Not Appalachian.
not Appalachian. Appalachian. How do you even say that word?
Probably depends on how much moonshine you've had.
Appalachian. No, it's not moonshine. What did I use? I used something like, it was McGillicuddy's apple pie. I know, but I didn't want to run to the store to get apple juice to coat my pork butt, to brush it. So I used this McGillicuddy's apple pie, and it's a sweet liqueur. It actually came out really good.
Are you in high school still?
No.
Just last week.
Yeah, it was like a couple of years ago. I got a buddy of mine gave it to me for my birthday or something. It was like the one whiskey I would never sip on. I mean, I don't drink whiskey anyway, but if I do, I like it to be really like strong and not sweet, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't like drinking hard alcohol. I can't anymore because I had that heart surgery, so I'm not allowed to.
Oh, for real?
Yep. Huh. Yeah, I had to have a valve replaced a couple years ago. They found out I was born with a bicuspid heart valve, and most people have a tricuspid, so it's 3 flaps that open and close, and it makes a perfect one-way system. Whereas with a bicuspid, you get a little backflow. So over the years, it had dilated my aorta, the hose leaving your heart to go back into your body and supply your body. It dilated it like 5.6 centimeters, and the normal is like 2.5 centimeters. So I was almost, I could have died. I probably would have for sure died.
Like heart attack or like what?
Aneurysm.
Aneurysm. Okay.
I would have just bled out. My heart's healthy. It was healthy. Like they did tests just to see like if there was anything else that maybe needed to be done. Like, I don't know, whatever else could possibly happen. Stents or
right.
Bypass, I think, is another one.
But so no hard liquor, but you can drink as much beer as you want?
No, I can't drink as much beer as I want. I gotta watch that. I'm on a blood thinner now because I went with a mechanical valve as opposed to a pig valve, because a pig valve has to be replaced like every 10 years, and I did not want to go through heart surgery again. I mean, it was the most pain I've ever had to deal with. It was really, really depressing and fucked up.
Yeah, no shit. How about like smoking? Like that's fine. That doesn't do anything. No, that doesn't. Well, I mean, I shouldn't smoke. You mean smoking weed? Well,
I mean, I can smoke weed. I do sometimes when I'm out fishing or whatnot, wherever it's legal.
Yeah.
Like growing up in Alaska, it was everywhere.
Some good old ditch weed.
Actually, up there, there's nothing to do in the wintertime. And so people grow really amazing marijuana.
Sure.
And
I suppose you have a bunch of greenhouses anyways.
yeah, it's always been there's, I think all the way back to the 70s, like you could actually have personal. You weren't allowed to transport it. You weren't allowed to sell it or buy it, but you could have it for personal in the confines of your house type deal.
Got it.
But then a few years ago, it went recreational. So all of my friends have turned their spare bedroom downstairs into a jungle. Like it's great. It's amazing. I mean, the seasonal depression that sets in Alaska in the wintertime because you're not getting any sunlight.
No vitamin D.
Yeah. And so to have, full spectrum lights in a room in your house that you spend time, you get vitamin D. So.
Yeah, it's not as easy as people think though. Setting up a room and, it has to be perfect humidity. You have to keep an eye, depending on what kind of methods that you use. Hydroponics is a fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah, I've never grown weed.
Me either.
I've never done it, but I have friends that have done it, so I've been around it, and it's weird. You walk into this room and it just feels like a jungle. It's like the humidity, the
light,
the ozone, like it almost smells like a rainforest.
Yeah, some people will even get oxygen to have in their room to make sure the plants are getting the appropriate oxygen levels. You have to have all your like white tarps up or black tarps depending on what you're doing in there.
Don't plants make oxygen? Like they absorb CO2, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know enough about it. We'll have to get a farmer on here sometime. Talk about weed. Some of my parents' friends, they years ago they moved out to Oregon and started doing honey and growing weed, and the bees cross pollinate. So they I don't know if I'm saying that right. They pollinate the plants. They go and get their whatever they need for honey.
Yep.
From the cannabis, and yeah, it's non, like you don't get high from the honey,
right?
It's just where they made their honey from. So
I wonder if that honey tastes like a little skunky.
Skunky honey.
Hey, you want some skunky honey?
I think you're onto something. Use some skunky honey on the fishy salmon.
Oh man. It sounds great.
Yeah. So I went ice fishing yesterday. Early ice.
Yeah, that's wild. And pretty much like a pond or something like that, right?
Yeah, my buddy that took me referred to it as a slough. I always thought a slough flows through something. But yeah, it's like a pond.
Yeah.
It's a pond, and it's got a couple fingers that go out. So it's not like a circle like what's out behind me here.
And sloughs are referred to something different in Alaska too, right?
Yeah, like Rabbit Slough is like a
ravine,
calm river, not a river, calm deep creek.
Got it.
And it barely moves. And
so you were out fishing, and I don't know, 3 inches of ice is about what it was. But I swear that ice only looked like an inch deep. And how did you measure it?
So I'm just going to be honest. I chickened out. I did not go out all the way onto I did go out onto the ice maybe like 30 or 40 yards. But my buddy.
Then you hightailed it back.
Man, that thing was talking to me. He was like popping and cracking.
Yep.
I had my GoPro on, so I know I captured some of that sound. But my buddy, he's lived here his whole life, grew up here, and he's running around like a little kid and pulling his sled and setting up the tip-ups. And I had my drone, so I had a good excuse to stay closer to shore because I, was flying my drone. And I got some really great footage of him setting the tip-ups up. He just used the bar.
Yeah.
A spud bar maybe is what it's called.
Sure.
Or a chisel. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
it's
chisel.
just a metal bar.
Yeah.
So that's how he was punching his holes.
Yep.
He didn't even use his auger. And we were using, I don't know if they were sucker minnows or
shiners or something.
Shiners.
Like so you just stood on shore while he fished?
No, I mean, I was out on the ice. But I and this pond is like 6 feet deep in the deepest part.
Got it.
Right. But still, I mean, I'm still like, I don't want to fall through, and I don't have my, I guess I need spikes. They make spikes that you wear on your wrist.
Yeah. They have, several different, I have two. It has like,
A lanyard.
Yeah. Sorts where they kind of stretch like this.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, you just throw them around your neck, and then they're accessible.
Yeah.
I think like the new fancy coats probably have them like in their sleeves.
Yeah. I just got me a new coat, and I guess it floats. It's got my bibs do not float, but the jacket at least does. So I feel a little better about that. But yeah, he was out there, and as soon as he got the tip ups up, because he we're allowed 3 each in Wisconsin. So we did have 6 tip ups up, but there's no way I was going to go out and check any tip up. he can check my tip ups for me. But as soon as he got them all set, they started popping, and we were going for just picklers, so nothing huge.
Right. Well, that size of that body of water wouldn't produce anything much bigger than that, anyways.
Yeah, I think the biggest one he said that he has seen out of there is like just under 30 inches, which is still a nice pike.
That's a big pike.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to harvest anything much bigger than that, anyways.
No, we would have let something that big go, I imagine. But it was great. They just started popping, and so I got this really cool drone footage. I've been dying. I'm just waiting for the moment that I get to take my drone out on the ice and get some make a fishing video about ice fishing, because not many people do it. Like I had no idea what ice fishing was until I moved here. At all.
It's not like a thing up in Alaska.
No, it's not, and it is starting to get a thing because just, I don't know, the internet, and people are discovering that it is actually fun to, take your family out on a lake and set up your shack. But up there, we don't have all the species of fish that we have down here, so your salmon run in the summertime.
No, but there's lakes.
There's lakes, so we have trout,
Yeah.
like rainbows, small rainbows.
There's got to be pike up there. There's got to be walleye up there.
There's no walleye. There are pike. The pike, they claim the pike were introduced from probably somebody from Wisconsin or Minnesota. They were introduced up there into a drainage.
Like I've thought about like how that process in itself. Obviously we're gonna being light on bringing a species of fish all the way up to Alaska from Minnesota, Wisconsin. But like even for people here, and they have I live in Egan. There's a sweet little lake right across the street from our house. I couldn't imagine like going to a different lake, like to go catch some muskies
and then let them go.
Put them into a cooler, and then driving them over to my lake. Like for what? Like it wouldn't like. There's not enough.
Like how would you do it?
How would you do it?
Got them in the fry stage.
And yeah, I mean, but even still, like how would they reproduce? You don't even know what the hell you got. You could have two.
That was the rumor growing up was they were
somebody took the time
somebody took the time. But now there are areas in Alaska. I was actually just watching a YouTube this morning that my buddy sent. I should show it to you because there are huge pike in Alaska. Big pike. The Anoka River, I think, is where these guys are. They're fly fishing. These pike are enormous fish. So there are pike in Alaska, and they probably are native to Alaska, but the drainage that they made their way to, they would have had to swim in salt water to get to it. So the actual drainage where they used to not exist, now they do exist there, and they've decimated the king salmon population. Like they've just
eat all the fry, probably, huh? Or not fry, but yearlings or whatever.
Yeah,
that's weird.
And so maybe that rumor, maybe I'm mistaken with the way I remember what was told to me, but maybe somebody introduced him to. It's called the Matanuska River, and that's up by Wasilla and Palmer.
So you still got that house in what part of Wisconsin?
Webster. Yep, still got that. And I don't know. We might take it off the market for a little bit, just for the winter season. I think he might have a friend that he's going to move in there, give him a place to live, and have his friend kind of work on some things, and then we'll probably put it back on the market
for the spring market.
Yeah.
There's some probably good winter fishing up in that area.
Yeah, I'm surprised that there's been no offers on it.
Yeah, it's just like many places like that, just has to find the right person.
Yeah. I thought we did.
Yeah, and come springtime, maybe. I think they just didn't want to do anything this time of year, and
They weren't ready to sell their house, right? In White Bear.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, but we got to definitely do some ice fishing this year, you and I.
Oh man, absolutely.
I mean, from here, there's God. You from our office, you could go 20 minutes just about any direction and be on really good fishing.
I mean, we could set tip ups right up there.
About 50 yards behind our office.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well try. I mean,
see, but one thing I've always been told and hesitant on is going through, what are they called, willows or whatever they are.
Oh, the grass.
Yeah, because the ice isn't stable going through that because there's so much pockets of air.
Oh,
so not that I wouldn't push my luck a little bit, but yeah, we could. But with that, I mean, there's what would you tip up fish for there?
I don't know. That's the thing we just discover. We should just fly the drone out and swoop it around the lake and see if there's any signs of anybody else to fish in that lake. I mean, that would be cool to just get here in the office in the morning and face the studio this way.
Yeah, well, we would just have to put one mic over next to the other side of the window, and we could just.
That would be fun, actually. We could just sit and talk about fishing. I actually want to. I know you don't have all day here, but at some point I want to show you this ice fishing montage that I'm putting together from the last 2 years of ice fishing. I got myself a GoPro and with the sole intent of, okay, I'm gonna try to document what this ice fishing is, because I was so blown away that people down here did this. The other reason in Alaska I think that we didn't do it is because, well, we got tired of fishing in the summer because that's all we did.
Yep.
And all the salmon disappear, and most of the lakes are just so incredibly deep. It's like, how are you gonna ice fish a lake that's 900 feet deep or
right,
however deep?
Yep.
And then the lakes around the town, they're stocked with rainbow trout, and so if you're gonna go rainbow fishing, like, you're gonna go for that 30-inch plus rainbow. So and the ice was incredibly thick, like most years. So I think that's why it never really became popular until recently. I do see my friends up there getting into it, and it might have been because they saw me down here doing it, and it's like, wait, that looks really fun. Why didn't we think of this sooner?
Yeah. And I do you have a pop-up house or anything like that?
So I actually want to buy one. So I have that sled system where it canopies over you.
Yep.
And you're sitting on like the plastic sled.
Yep.
So I have one of those. Last fall, me and my buddy Ben, he's in my fishing videos, and then my other buddy Shasha, he's in the fishing videos. We started building an ice castle. So it's all done. He just got the jacks, like the automatic jack system, delivered. So we're going to install that, I think, maybe Thursday. And so this winter we'll have an ice castle. And I think what I'm going to do is invest in and just start looking around and finding one of those. It's like just a pop-up tent, right?
Yeah.
It pops out.
Yep.
I don't know what they're called. It's like a clam.
Yeah, my wife got me 2 years ago. I think it was a 6-person pop-up tent, insulated clam. They say it's a 6-person, but it's probably ideal for two guys or two guys, 2 gals, whatever, in their fishing gear.
Yeah,
to sit in there comfortably.
So they make those double long ones too.
Right? Oh, sure. Yeah. Like, what do they call them? I can't remember. They have a specific name for the double ones that you're talking about.
Because I was thinking that would be
Base
really
camp.
A base camp.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking with this ice castle, because Ben and I fish all the time, it'd be fun to have the ice castle doesn't have a kitchen in it. So to set up one of those base camps out the back door and figure out how that's our like 3-season porch to the ice castle, right? And then that's where the cooking happens. That's where we set up the Weber. I don't know how this is going to work or if it would work. It would be cool if you could roll up, one of the walls that's on the leeward side from the wind.
Yep.
I don't know. That's kind of what we were thinking. You'd probably throw cots out there and it just extend the ice castle
experience.
It'd be fun. Yeah.
You could, just go buy an inexpensive canopy that has sides.
Yeah. I think I'd want to heat it though. I'd want to be able to, I would prefer it to be insulated because like, let's say I just want to go out one night, and maybe we're scoping a different lake and the ice castle's already set on this lake and we could just take it out, set it up on another lake.
You need something different for that. Because if you're cooking in one, you don't want to haul around a stinky cooking shelter.
No, we could cook right outside the shelter. We don't have to cook inside the shelter, but we could have the table for the food, the prep space. I don't necessarily mean cooking inside of it.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't work. But I think it would be cool to be able to leave the ice castle door open if you could retrofit it to where it's, making the ice castle almost twice as long.
Yeah, just get a canopy.
Let's get a canopy. That's too easy, man. And way too cheap. You're right. We'll just get a canopy.
I think they sell canopies that have enclosed 3 sides. So you could just snatch up one of those somewhere especially right now, because they're probably more seasonal like summer. You could probably get one for pretty damn cheap somewhere.
It wouldn't blow away?
Get some fucking steaks.
Yeah. All right. Or some screws.
ice steaks, ice screws.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they sell those all over the place.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So, your tent, Clam, is it like a square? Is it an octagon?
Octagon, yeah. Yep.
And it just it's pretty easy to put away, right? It just you push the side in.
Yeah, I think the center top, collapses down into it. And then, like pretty much like a spider, like collapsing.
Yeah. I like that design a lot better than the one I got. The one I got's just kind of a pain.
Yeah, it's kind of, not necessarily bulky because none of them are not bulky, but it's not as, I guess, pliable because it's just like
a plastic sled.
Yeah, plastic sled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the one my wife got me was pretty fucking sweet.
What do those run?
I have no fucking idea. Probably $600 all day long.
Yeah.
The dude who made those, he's from here, from Minnesota. Invented or pretty much created ice fishing experiences that we know now.
Really?
Yep. He made I think the first ice shelter was like a 1-person version of what you have. It was on a sled.
Yeah.
I think his first experiences, I believe, were bringing it out to Lake Minnetonka and just, it was single sled. He popped it over. Dave Gens is his name. And now he even made if I remember correctly, created the little pucks that you keep all your waxies and stuff like that in. So it looks like a puck. It's usually bright colored. You screw it open, and then you put all your waxies and grubs and stuff like that in there.
Check this out here. Come around here just for a second. I'm going to show you this this clip. I have the sound muted. It's right after this. I think that was the first big northern I saw in person. That's a pretty nice one. I think that's out on Balsam Lake. Nice one, huh?
Yep.
But,
God, I love balsam.
you got to watch this though. This next scene is really cool. The ice.
Is that Bigfoot?
that clam is just, they can't. It's so windy, and they just can't manage it. So one of our crew went over to help them, but those are like high school kids.
Just figuring it out, man.
Yeah, but it did blow. It actually blew. I got some lyrics for that ice fishing song I wrote just based on that. But then you got to watch this next shot, man. That's venison that I cooked on the ice.
That looks delicious.
Yeah, buddy. So that's what we're doing. When we go ice fishing, we're bringing whatever meat we want to do and a way to cook it.
Oh, I usually just bring like a sandwich.
No, that's not what we're doing, Anton. But you can
hot
bring,
dog.
Yeah, but you can bring some sandwiches. We always end up doing like schwenks or what cheddar brats.
Oh, sure.
Cheddar brats, and I always bring a package of bacon, and I'll cook that down. Careful not to burn it, but then that's like whatever, like the brats cooked in bacon grease. So good, dude. And you're burning calories because you're outside and you're trying to stay warm. So
You're shivering.
yeah. But yeah, we'll have to go ice fishing, and we'll have to be careful not to reveal where we go as much as like, okay, this is how you target walleye, or this is how we target northern.
We could talk about general area though.
Sure.
You know, I think that'd be good, and you know, that could definitely generate some interest in some of the surrounding properties.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I just don't want to blow out the good fishing holes, you know what I mean? And I'm always really careful not to tell this guy Ben where I'm fishing.
Right.
No, I'll tell him, but you know, because we're pretty lucky that we live around so many little gems of spots that, you know, you don't have to go up to the Northwoods to find fish. You can find fish locally. I think the big thing is to let more go than you keep, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you can, and who the hell wants to fillet up many more than you can actually keep? Like it becomes a hassle.
Yeah, so that's why I can't get into pan fishing.
Why?
For sunnies and I mean, maybe I could. I guess I just haven't got into some really nice crappie, because I know the few crappie that I have got that were like the 12-inch range, I couldn't believe how much meat was on those. Like, that was really incredible.
So, but why can't you get into pan fishing? So what?
For the reason of, okay, I'm going to have 20 panfish to clean as opposed to one northern or 3 northern or a nice walleye.
You know, and so you probably haven't just learned the right technique.
Probably not. Yeah. I honestly, I don't, my friends that I go ice fishing with, we are going for northern or walleye. I haven't gone out to specifically target, okay, we're going to look for some sunfish or some crappie. So if you know how to do that, I would love to do that. I'd love to go target some crappie.
Well, like so it definitely comes from like some different cultural experiences. Like, yes, you can sit there and, you know, fillet up, you know, a bunch of crappies and sunnies, and a lot of people do it. But, you know, the technique that I learned years and years ago was you just gut them, descale them, cut the heads off, fry them whole.
Really?
Yeah.
With the tail?
Yeah.
And do you eat the tail?
Some people do, yeah, because they're like, oh, it's a chip, you know. So, you know, people.
I would be interested in experiencing that, because that sounds hell of a lot easier than, because I'm thinking like, okay, here's how I fillet a salmon, and I'm gonna try to do the same thing here and cut the rib cage out.
Yep.
So the rib cage comes with the
Yeah,
panfish?
like everything, like when you just gut it, scale it, cut the head off, and then fry it. Everything, obviously, you still got that skin on there, but then like all of the meat just falls right off the bones.
Oh, so you don't eat the bones?
No,
Okay.
no, you like, yeah. I mean,
It just
falls. Either you know just pick it up and start eating.
look at that fucking hot dog, man. Watch this bite right here, dude. This is what we do. I guess I already bit it. Yeah, it's so good, man. I can't wait to cook on the ice with you. It's gonna be fun. Anyway, so
That's a little disturbing. You just said you can't wait for me to.
can't wait for you to watch me eat a hot dog.
Watch me put all that in my mouth.
So we scale. So when you scale a fish, that's something I've never done either.
Oh, for real? Yeah. So
Nope.
they sell like this. I have several of them that you just go to wherever your local sporting goods store, and they sell descalers. It kind of looks like a shoehorn with a little bit of teeth on them.
Oh, like the shoehorn. That's how you put on your
Yep.
nice shoes if you're lazy.
Correct.
Okay.
Nice shoes in general.
Okay.
But yeah,
okay.
it's
And you just do you go
Against.
towards the face or towards
correct.
the head?
Yep. And then they just all pop right off.
What a mess! I mean, where do you into a trash can?
Sure. I mean, if you're out on the ice, who fucking cares?
Yeah, I'm thinking back at the house. Like, okay, I'm gonna have to deal with all the millions of scales in my kitchen sink now.
Oh, I would just do it out in my driveway.
Okay, huh? And so the skin's still on.
Yep, it's like the smallest layer of skin that keeps everything intact.
Kind of like a catfish skin, probably.
Down to that point, yeah, probably.
It's like smooth.
yeah.
Huh.
And then, yeah, you can just fry them up, and you can either just grab it, start, eating it, just falls right off the bone, or people, also just use their fingers and pull it off.
Or do you pan fry it, or are you like dropping it in a thing of peanut oil? Do you batter it?
Your choice, dealer's choice.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should do that. That sounds fun.
when I did my ninja fishing, and we get on the crappies, they're like 12 to 15-inch crappies, and we just bring those home and fillet them up, and like those ones you can like just cut the meat off because they're just such monsters. But yeah, you get to a point where you have 20 panfish to fillet, and it's like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to descale them, cut the head off, be done with it in a few seconds.
Yeah, that's why I've never been really interested in it. I have kept panfish, but they're just such a pain in the butt to fillet. Like,
see, and I don't know how to fillet pike, so I always just thought of it as a game fish, and put it right back in.
they're delicious. Pike are really good. I mean, I've done fish fry with walleye and pike in the same fish fry, and it's really hard to tell the difference.
I don't like that. You can hear me scratch my thigh.
Oh, you got some itch. So
I need my Gold Bond.
So this scene is pretty cool. Our ice shack there were 4 of us out here. So everybody wanted to set up around the ice shack. I hopped in my truck and I went over to the shore where I was using my Navionics, and I saw a shelf, and I'm like, I'm going to go set my tip ups here about a quarter mile away from, like, you needed binoculars to see the tip up.
Right.
And I drive over there every so often. And those holes were the only, we burnt those. Those holes were the only holes that produced that day. And it was so funny because as soon as we'd see a tip up through the binoculars, whoever had the binoculars didn't tell anybody else, hopped in the truck and just took off. Like, so we started racing over to those tip ups. And yeah, I'd actually, down south, it's real common to eat bass, right? I mean, people eat bass. Like, anytime I've gone to the Ozarks, it's like, okay, hey, we're going fishing for a fish fry, and we keep bass, we keep
Perch,
some sunfish.
Mm-hmm. Call them what, brownies down there though?
Smallmouth are called brownies. So a smallmouth bass down there is referred to as a brownie or a smallie.
Yep.
You also have Kentuckies. You have spotted. There's hybrid. I don't know. I don't really know the difference. I feel like fish are called things
Regionally.
Yeah, regionally. Yeah, that Shawshan bin. If you ever come out to the ice shack, and then this is a game I invented on the ice here. We'd set up. Yeah, it's kind of like bags, but with weedless lures, and we'd cast them out at the, we'd create obstacles, and whoever gets closer or whatever. But
there's so in March, I'll be starting a custom one neighborhood down in Savage. So I'll have 17 1 and 1.5 story homes, 17 homes down there to sell. There's a sweet little lake down there that I might just have to January, February. Yeah, well, be the tail end of, I guess, ice season maybe. For February, March, yeah, it'll be low.
Why don't we go hit it now or next week?
There's not enough ice out there. It's like a bigger
lake.
Yeah, not like
a pond.
Yeah, but when my buddy and we went there last year and just for about 3 hours and just had really, really good luck on the panfish.
Cool.
But
how deep is it?
It gets pretty deep, like 30, 40 feet deep, something like that.
That'll be cool. I was talking with Katie yesterday, actually, about doing some drone work for some of her custom one homes.
Kate?
Kate, yeah. It's not Katie? Kate. Yeah, you're right, Kate. Anyhow, yeah, she has some custom one homes that she wants me to fly the drone around. But with that might be fun to take the drone out and do some ice fishing and just get that footage. So when you do end up marketing these homes or something, you could throw in some of that footage of the, hey, this is a great lake to fish,
Yep. So I'm probably going to do another open house at another one of our custom one developments neighborhoods this Sunday in Inver Grove. And it'd be kind of sweet to have some drone footage. We only have a couple lots left there. There's a house being built right now. But yeah, I'll be there probably Sunday, like 11 to 1 or something along those lines. But that'd be kind of cool to have some drone footage of that.
Sure. Like of you, like introducing the house that you're doing an open house for?
Sure. And probably that. And then, it's like we only have, I think, 3 lots left there, to get a little bit more
aerial perspective of what those lots are.
Yeah. And just kind of, and just bring a little bit more attention to that neighborhood, because there's only a couple lots left, would be pretty good. And it's like surrounded by, preserves and wetlands and stuff like that. So
yeah, let me know. I have a show on Friday, and then Saturday I'm at Ziggy's, and Sunday I don't have a gig on Sunday.
Sunday fun day.
Yeah, and football day. But what we could do is with that drone, I could just get some footage, and then if you wanted to say come in here next Monday, and we lay out that footage however long you want it, 30 seconds, a minute, however long, lay out that timeline, and then if you wanted to, you could talk about the preserve. Yep. I'm not really into those videos where you're looking at the realtor's face and they're talking to the camera. Like I would much rather see or hear the voice and then have some, maybe a peaceful musical bed, like a cool soundtrack, and then, just talking about
voice over it.
Yeah, I think so. But if you wanted to get a shot of you like talking, just, hey, I'm Anton, and
Welcome to Amberwood.
exactly, like standing outside of the house, we would hook you up with and I don't have one. We'd want to get one, and I'm sure we
could just voice over it here,
we could voice over here, but to do it remote, like in the field or something, you would just
want a mic.
pick up a little lapel mic. I should pick some up anyway, just to have for even ice fishing. I wish my buddy had one on him yesterday, because the drone doesn't pick up any voice.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you cooking there?
Those are Schwenk's cheddar bratwurst, and I'm thinking this is food, and it's like, I don't know what that is. That's like bait. It's like some type of artificial stink bait. For
Some Berkeley gulp.
dude, that's what it was. It was gulp. I had no idea what I was smelling, and it was not what I was expecting. It was so disgusting.
Wonder why fish like it.
I don't know.
It smells funky.
It smells fishy. Those propane heaters are really cool, man. Like when you fire them up, they make that tone.
Oh, oh yeah.
And then that's a really cool sound. Like I want to hold a microphone on that and sample that. And it's the first tone it makes, it's like just above middle C on a piano. And then after that heats up, it skips up like 2 octaves and holds that note for a while. I think it would be really cool to make a soundtrack for ice fishing. That was a good walleye. It was like perfect eating size. I was so happy. I was alone out there, fall asleep in my truck, wake up at every hour or whatever and check my tip ups. And I'm like, fuck, man, I feel guilty. I'm going to go home. I have no reason to feel guilty. I'm just like, I've been out here for 8 hours. So I was going to pull my flags, and it was cold as shit. So I'd pull a flag, put that tip up away, run back to my car, crank the heater, warm up. Pulled my second one, same thing. And then when I was going to pull my third one, I'm walking towards it, and it tip up. And it was a walleye. I was so freaking happy.
Yeah, it'd be cool to get some of the sounds from being out on the ice.
Yep. So that sound, and then the sound of the ice cracking.
Yeah.
I really want to capture that. Like that's really
that, and the wind howling, and like the flapping of your fish house, like the sides that you get. But that wind howling, hitting different materials would be kind of cool.
And yeah, actually this year, where was I? I was fishing somewhere this year. Oh, it was when I was trolling out on Lake Michigan. I was hearing this whistle. It was like, and I couldn't figure out where this whistle was coming from. And they were in different tones. Finally the captain was like, oh yeah, those are the fishing lines. Just the tension and the wind passing over them. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, this is my buddy Jason. He gave me his family's pickling recipe. Really good. Do you like pickled fish?
I don't think I've ever had it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll bring some to the meeting tomorrow. I'll bring a jar, and I'll probably need to bring 2 jars because Katie wanted to try some too. It disappears pretty quick.
Well, I think I'm gonna have to cut out here.
Right on. Woods and water.
Woods and water. Woods and water.
Yeah, send me over a picture that you want me to use. I'll caricaturize it. And then this winter, we'll get a good picture of you and I out on the ice or something. And
cool.
For the episode art. Dude, this kid right here pulls in a monster pike. And this guy right here with the 80s glasses, he's got a pole barn out there by Deer Park or Glenwood City. And the pole barn is filled with, he raises bait, like bait
sure.
fish.
Yeah.
So it's pools and pools and pools and pools
Yep.
of bait fish. It was a really cool operation to see. Yeah, I know you got to leave, but just you wait, Anton. This kid's maybe 13. This is the biggest fish he's ever caught. And it's so exciting. That's something I like about ice fishing. It's like, it doesn't even matter who in your party ends up getting the fish. It feels like such a team effort, and everybody's celebrating, and that's a nice pike. He was pumped.
That's a sweet pike, especially by hand.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. I know you got to get busy. Get busy doing things. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast. We'll fish you later.